Topical issue. Today, let me tell you a story, an interesting story. A story from the land that gave Kenya its name by correctly pronouncing, but to those who are listening to it, wrongly getting it and giving Kenya the name. I'm talking about the people of Ukambani. Out of the many ethnic communities we have in Kenya, there is an ethnic community called the Akamba people. I think it should be the 5th largest community in Kenya. 5th largest. Because we have the Kikuyu and then the Luhya. The Kikuyu and the Luhya leave them, they have a small divide by a very small margin. Less than 2 million people, I think. The difference between the two. Less. And then we have the Kalenjin, which is the 3rd group. Kamba is the 4th. Then we have the Akamba people who are the 4th. And then we have the Luo people who are the 5th. So, in terms of numbers, that is the divide. The first 5 largest communities. With a difference, there is always a doubt on how large the difference between the Luyas and the Kikuyus are. Is it 1 million? Is it less than 1 million? Somewhere there. So, today I'm taking you to the Akamba people, the 4th largest community in Kenya. They are found from the coast of East Africa, of Kenya, not East Africa. They border the Mijikenda, and they border the Kikuyu, they border the Masai, and they border the Rendile and the other northern Kenyan communities. This is a place where allegedly the white man came. I don't know if it was from the Royal Geographical Society, Rebman and Kraft, or if it was somebody else, but the white man came and was seeing a snow-capped mountain. It was very rare because people believed that in the equator there were no mountains with snows. And when the people from Europe, the Royal Geographical Society, entered Kenya, they were surprised that inside Kenya, by then it was not called Kenya, it was that land, those tribal kingdoms. Inside the tribal kingdoms of the eastern part of Africa, there was a mountain that was snow-capped. And when they reached Ukambani, they asked, "What do you call that land?" And the Kambas could not pronounce Kirinyaga, the mountain. So the Kambas told them, "That is Kenya." And there, the name Kenya was born. Sometimes I wonder, I always think it could have been Rebman, because the Germans don't call Kenya Kenya. They call it Kenya. It's Kenya. Kenia. Kenya. So it could have been him. Who knows? Who knows? But there is that large resemblance. Kenya and Kenya. In this great land, where the first capital, Kenya, was founded, around the Iveti Hills, called Machakos. That was the first capital of Kenya. It was founded before it was moved to Nairobi, the place of cold waters. A Ma name, Masai, Ma, place of cold waters. Nairobi, place of cold waters. Machakos was the land of Masaku, the great Akamba trader who would trade from the coast to the interior, getting goods to the Arabs and getting goods from the interior. The great long distance trader, Masaku. From that land comes the story of two heroines. One was called Syokimau. Syokimau was born around Iveti Hills. Her family was a family that was a family of prophetess and prophets, seers. Syokimau was very important in their community because Syokimau had the ability to use traditional herbs to heal. But not only that, Syokimau was a seer. Syokimau was a prophetess. And she kept telling her people, sometimes in my visions, I see an iron snake coming from the place where Masaku used to go and trade from that eastern coast, from the ocean. An iron snake will come. An iron snake will come. And it will come with people whose skin looks like white meat. Their skin look like white meat. And when these people come, in their pocket or their pockets, they'll be carrying fire. And Syokimau did not live to realize that vision she had seen. Syokimau station is in Nairobi, the modern standard gauge railway first stop from Mombasa to Nairobi. You alight at Syokimau station. But how was this naming in that part of Kenya done? Because they neighbor the Ma, and that is the place where the Akamba people, is around the Mlolongo area, present Mlolongo, where the Akambas were neighboring the Ma community, those of the place, the river of cold waters. After Syokimau, another prophetess, another heroine, by the name of Syonguu wa Kathukya. Syonguu wa Kathukya was born in that area of Kambani. And during her time, that prophecy of the iron snake coming from the coast materialized. There came people with skin that looked like white meat. Yes, they carried fire. They had pipes. When they smoked fire. They carried magic sticks that spit fire. And they had matchboxes that lit fire. True to the prophecy, people with the skin that looked like white raw meat came carrying fire. But when they came carrying fire, they had other motives. They started settling in the land of Syonguu. Syonguu being a woman, but a prophetess, led a fight against these invaders who had reached the land of Akamba. They resisted, but the powerful sticks that spit fire were so much for them. And when 2 of the 8 of Syonguu were killed, Syonguu stopped the revolution. And those people settled fast, setting a town where Syokimau had been born, Iveti Hills, Machakos, being the very first capital of Kenya. And because of the coolness of Nairobi, the land of cold waters, they relocated and put up the first capital there. When you come to Nairobi and you reach Syokimau railway station, you will always meet the statue of this great heroine. Yes, it's a name that we were not taught much in history because there were so many heroes and heroines in the country. But with the coming and the making again of the railway line, they remembered this great heroine, this great prophetess who had prophesied about the coming of the iron snake and the people with a skin that would look like raw white meat. The people who carried fire. And I've told you fire was seen in 3 ways. They smoked pipes and cigarettes. Fire. They had sticks that spit fire and killed. And they had matches which lit fire. We didn't have matches, we used to have sticks. One would use a stick, sharpen, and you rub the stick against another piece of wood over dry grass and you produce fire. But these ones came carrying fire in their pockets. I thought of telling this story because unknown to me, during our history, we were told few stories. We were told of the prophecy of Mugo or somebody, talking of the white butterflies and the iron snake. We were told of Koitalel, Samuel, also talking of seeing the iron snake and the white butterflies. We were told of Sakawa, who prophesies a bird whistling and the white butterflies. But nobody had taught us about Syokimau and Syonguu until when that station came up and I inquired. That's when I realized there was a great hero who fought against the white people when their capital, their city, was first used as the capital of Kenya. But they could not. She led the revolution against those white people who started settling, but she could not match their powers. So it reached a point where she gave up. And they proceeded to build the Nairobi station, and they proceeded to build it was called the Uganda Railway. It was not the Kenya Railway. It was the Uganda Railway to Port Florence, which we call Kisumu now. Having seen that, I've thought it's nice also to tell it from that perspective. The great heroines of Ukambani. Syokimau and Syonguu were Kathukya. That is my take for this moment.